Life Lesson Friday episode of the Confidence Through Health podcast. This episode revolves around goal setting, and it's interesting that I had an sort of an experiment, if you will, with several of my athletes uh, last weekend, actually. And what I did was I had them all write down their goal for their season. And these were all track athletes, sprinters and long distance runners. And I had them pick one event, whatever their favorite event was, whatever their event they wanted to do the most in, type of thing. And had them write it down, write their name, write the event, write the goal down. Turns out, after going through this list of athletes over the couple of days that I did it, there are 27 people that I had write down their goals. Of those 27 people, four knew the goal before I gave them the piece of paper. Four of them already had it in their mind, which means 23 of them had some sort of reaction that went like this. Oh man, I hadn't, what should my goal be? What do you think my goal should be? Oh, well, this is hard. You want me to write it down? Like, oh my gosh. And these are all high school athletes. Some of them are tops in the state and their event in their age bracket, multiple state champions in this group. And one of those state champions actually was one of the people that asked me, "What do you think my goal should be? Do you think that's good enough?" And several of them decided on a goal that was a very, very small percentage improvement from the previous year. So there's a lot to unpack here. I think the biggest thing that stands out to me is that 15% of the kids, of the athletes, knew what their time goal was before the season begins and could write it down on the moment. Only 15%, which means 85% are going into practices not understanding what they're actually trying to achieve. They know they want to get faster. They know they're working. They know they're running. They're doing all this because they're trying to get faster. And maybe they already have a goal of, I want to achieve success at this level as far as like a district championship or an area championship or something like that. But running is very much a time defined activity. And it's a way a lot of people decide, am I getting better or not? Right. And it's not always going to get faster. And that's one of the things I tell the kids, because at 51, I'm not getting faster. I'm just trying to slow down the slowest. But what they have to do, you can't, and I've told them this afterwards, is you can't understand if your practice is a good practice and you're getting where you want to go if you don't know where you want to go. Because everybody in their district wants to win district. Everybody in their state wants to win a state title. What's it going to take to get there, and how are they training for it? Because a lot of those kids are training just as hard as my athletes are. So what's going to define them and what's going to help them understand in their racing, am I moving towards my goal? Because the first meet of the year is going to come along and there's going to be a big gap, hopefully, between the first meet and the last meet. And hopefully that gap is because we're getting better. But we won't know how much better we need to get if we don't know what our time goal is. And this is life. We set these big goals out there in the future. And a lot of these kids want to run in college. They don't know what it takes to run in college yet because they can't figure out what a time goal is. They don't see that. And we go through this with retirement. We go through this with weight loss and health and all these areas because we have this goal way out in the future, but we don't say, okay, what am I going to do right now in the next 3 months to get myself there? What is it going to take? and what is my goal for 3 months, right? And if my goal for 3 months is I want to lose 15 pounds in 3 months and be able to keep it off, so I'm going to lose it the right way. Like, what am I doing along the way to get there? And every week, am I doing something that's helping me get there? And you write these things down, then it's in your face. Then you've committed to it. And that's what a lot of these kids realized. You want me to write it down? Oh my gosh, that means I have to do it. That's one of the things I heard. If I write it down, that means I have to do it. And now, some of them, I went back and adjusted in front of them in the group and said, I don't think this is a big enough goal. I think you're going to achieve this a lot sooner than you realize. We need to put something out there that's 3 or 4 months down the road we can achieve because I don't think you realize where you're at and the ability you have right now. And if we don't put a goal that's strong enough, a lot of times we let up when we realize we're getting close. So the biggest issue, you got to know what your goal is in whatever area of life it is. You got to write it down. And I'll show you this little pad right here in 2020, 2019, 2020, I started writing down goals. And now, like this was January 18th, 2019. I started writing down goals for the next few years. Those have changed because of what happened in 2020 and how that's changed the world and the way that I was able to start my business and keep it growing. But that doesn't change the fact that, okay, I can go back and adjust the goals, but I need to write the goals down or they're not going to happen. And I've got that in my own running, I've got that down to a level of I know the race times that I want to run. I know the splits that I want to run into getting those race times. And I've trained my kids to understand this, that if you're a distance runner and you understand not just what your overall time goal is, but how you're going to get there, what each 800 is going to be, what each mile is going to be. When you hit that split along the way, and let's say you wanted to run a 225 split for 800 in your race and you hit 224 and you feel good, you know everything's paying off and you've got a really good chance. And that positive reinforcement is huge. If you want to lose 15 pounds over 3 months and you go 2 weeks and you've lost 2 pounds, you are very much on your way to getting that. And that should be huge reinforcement, not I've been at this 2 weeks and I've only lost 2 pounds, right? We've got to think about it the other way around. And when we write it down and spread it out and understand it, we can say, oh, I see that I'm on my way. I shouldn't be discouraged at this point. I see that I'm on my way. And when my athletes do a workout 3 weeks from now and they've improved a little bit, but they might say, man, I wish I was faster. I'm like, but you're improving towards your goal. That's what matters, right? That's what matters. If we set the goal correctly, it's going to be difficult to achieve. It's going to take work and it's not going to happen overnight. And if it is easy to achieve and it doesn't take a lot of work and it happens overnight, it wasn't a proper goal. So we have to write these things down. We have to commit to them and we have to move towards them and understand how we're moving towards them on the way. But the biggest thing I got and the reason that this whole video is created is because the look on their face on 85% of the people that I had go through this, 23 kids out of 27 that said, huh, I don't know what to put. Basically is what they said. I don't know what to put. And I'm scared to put something that's that A, I'm going to hold them accountable to, and B, they know they're going to have to work towards. So the people that did know their goals are the people that have already been putting in that extra bit of work and are already looking for how am I going to get there? What am I going to do? Not just I'm running and I'm doing the work and I'm here, but I don't understand what's moving forward. So that buy-in and a lot of that comes with passion. I understand that. A lot of it comes with passion. A lot of it comes with understanding. And and that's one of the reasons why I did this exercise with them is to start teaching them how to be able to be there, how to be able to get there. Because one of the things that everybody out there knows, in most jobs, you're going to sit down and have goals. You're going to have a goal review. You're going to have, whether it's weekly or monthly, quarterly, you're going to have reviews with your boss on how are you doing? Are you reaching your goals? Are you meeting your goals? If these kids go on to be athletes in college, they absolutely are going to have conversations with their coaches about what's the goal? How are we going to get there? What are we going to do? Like, that's a part of life. So why not learn it easy? And if you're not doing this in your personal life, then that may be why you aren't seeing the results that you really want and that are bringing you joy and that are helping you understand that you're out there accomplishing something. So that's the Life Lesson Friday for this episode. I hope that it helps you understand that writing down your goals is very important, that understanding how to get to those goals is important, and setting those goals to where they're going to push you and they're going to be difficult, but they're achievable. That's what we want because in 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, however long those goals are, in that time frame, you will be a transformed person. I'm completely different person in my business than the person that was writing these goals down. I have a better understanding of what I'm doing. I have achieved some of these goals. I haven't achieved some of them because of other things, but I'm still striving for them. And it's important to be able to look back and say, okay, maybe I didn't get this goal, but look where I got, right? Look what changed. Look how I improved. Look at how I'm different because the goals are going to shift as we go through life and different things happen to us. And maybe we get a different trajectory for life. So the goals can shift and that's fine. But writing them down and keeping on track with them. And when they shift, setting the new trajectory in going after those new goals is just as important. So that's the Life Lesson Friday for this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. And we'll talk to you soon.